the people of Thembisa, just going by LSM, and its 2.5 million population, are not subscribers to News 24. They're not. But we service their interest as journalists because we work in the public interest. And that was our methodology throughout this story, was to take it slow, separate the wheat from the chaff. This is important and it's dangerous. So if you shoot for the king, don't miss. There was not a single, well, there were ombudsman challenges, none of them successful. There were legal threats, none of them successful. And we are now at a stage where the SIU can, based off our work, reclaim those funds for the benefit of the South African taxpayer. We're dealing with the situation where this is a business case for the benefit of investigative journalism. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet. There are brilliant investigative journalists in the South African context. We have a rich history of watchdog journalism. There was a poignant comment on one of my colleagues' stories that said, the ink of investigative journalists is a thin black line that has often prevented total collapse. And there's many instances where investigative journalists have either helped reclaim funds, worked for the greater good, or prevented maladministration and misspending. So that's the business case for investigative journalism. But how do we fund it? Because there's a massive financial input to investigative journalism. All of you who are working journalists will understand that staying on a story or staying on a project for 4 years is a complete rarity. I've been a journalist for 18 years. In the lead up to this, I've never experienced the ability to do that. Because of our news cycle, because our newsrooms are small, because there's so much going on that you have so little time to focus on developing an investigation or developing a project, or even if you're not an investigative journalism, or an investigative journalist, excuse me, to stay on an issue and develop that story, to really take ownership of it and write the shit out of it, because you understand the story is important. So how do we sustain this work? Because truly, had it not been for, like someone commented on an Instagram post that News 24 did the other day and said, well, you know, Jeff, we think you're great, but News 24's cuck. And I responded and I said, had it not been for News 24, there would be no story, there would be no truth, and the extraction syndicates at Thembisa Hospital would still be eating, because nothing would have changed. Babita's report had been suppressed and buried. Had an investigative journalist not gotten involved, the status quo would have remained as is. So we need to pay for this work somehow. So we put up a paywall. We have a 70-30 split of what is free and what is premium content. And investigations, sadly, are premium content because they take so much financial investment. And as a journalist myself, I think, well, I do this work for outcomes. You want to make a change. You don't want to just write or broadcast into the ether and nothing happens. You want to be able to effect a positive change, not only for an individual, but for our democracy, for our people. And in this instance, it was the people of Thembisa and all the millions of other people who rely on Gauteng health facilities. So that was the motivation behind our work, but it had to be paid for somehow. So I'm extremely thankful for News 24's paywall. Without that, everything our investigations team has achieved in the 5 years that I've been there would not have been possible.